And welcome to an abbreviated version of Wave Listens Live. Our prayers go out to those who are affected by Hurricane Ian. With me now, speaking of change of seasons, of course it's not as drastic as it is in Florida, but there is a change of season. You can feel it in the air. And now's the time to maybe take a look at your roof, your gutters. With me is Dana Brown, who is the president of Cervices, and Services with a C, because they look at service differently, right, Dana?
Absolutely.
Welcome
Absolutely.
back.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. All right, let's talk a little bit about your company and what you do, because I think Services, a lot of people, rightly so, associated with roofing, but you do more, right?
We do. We're roofing, gutters, and siding. We stick to those three because it's what we're excellent at. We try not to go outside of that too much and stick to what we're the very, very best.
You were telling me, you and I were chatting a little bit, and I was doing my homework about right now is the perfect time. If some of that bad weather that hit us, maybe some of the heat, some of the rain, etc., that hit us affected your roofs or your gutters, now's the perfect time to do something. Why?
It really is. So a lot of times people associate roofing as more of a summertime thing. And in some respects it is. You've got more daylight, more hours to get productivity done. But in terms of temperature and overall weather conditions, fall really is the perfect time. A lot of times, especially in the summertime where the heat is just beaming right down on your roof, and a darker color especially, it gets so hot that you can actually do damage to the shingles with foot traffic when you walk around the roof surface trying to do a replacement or a repair. So the cooler temperatures definitely help out in that regard. But it's also not so cool that the shingles become brittle or hard to work with. So kind of finding that sweet spot in the temperatures as well as in the change of seasons, where most of the spring and summer severe weather that we tend to get here is past us, and any damage is done for the year, and you get a chance to fix it before that cold, wet, soggy winter sets in.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah, I could see where the shingles could get brittle when it gets really cold, hard to work with, and so this makes it easier for both you and your team as the roofers, and then of course for the customer, the better quality outcome. So perfect. All right, let's talk a little bit about some transformations. I love seeing proofs in the pudding, and I know you're very proud of your team, aren't you?
I am. We are biased, but we think we've got the best team, both in terms of our sales folks and in terms of our installation teams. And so last time that we were here, we had some pictures of things that you might not see very often. One of those was actually part of this transformation that we're about ready to take a look at, where the house had some storm damage, but it wasn't hail. It was impact from gravel that had been picked up in the property. So if anybody remembers seeing that one. So this house, we finally finished the full transformation on, and they went from a white kind of aging looking siding there you go, you see it, to this beautiful blue. It really updated a very classic farmhouse. But again, originally the damage was storm related. It was gravel that was picked up and blown literally into the interior cavity between the framing walls and the siding of this home. And so this was one that insurance was involved in and came and helped out this homeowner with the financial aspect of things, which is another thing that I can't talk about enough, is that make sure that you know your policy, know what your policy is going to cover. I am no insurance expert, but I do hear quite a lot about what people wish they had in their policy before it comes time to use it when they're doing this sort of transformation. So make sure that you take the time to know exactly what's covered. Make sure if you need to have code upgrade coverage or you need to have reasonable match coverage, things like that. A lot of times insurance is kind of like roofing. It's not the most exciting thing for people to talk about, but knowing what's involved, knowing what you've got coverage for and what you don't before you need it makes a huge, huge difference.
And Dana, you can help them navigate. If someone like myself who doesn't know a lot about, how do I talk to insurance companies, what can you and your team will help them navigate that and make sure it goes seamlessly.
Absolutely. So for most people, if they're lucky, they'll only have to go through the insurance process maybe a handful of times in their lifetime, if they're lucky. It's something that we do all day, every day. So shepherding people through that process, we're pretty comfortable with. The reality, though, is that by the time you've got a claim, you can't make changes to your policy. So make sure that you are not only involving, qualified professionals in a renovation on your house, but make sure you know exactly what's in your policy and you find people that you can trust on the insurance side as well.
All right, let's take a look at another transformation here. Again, Services with the C, don't forget it, and they cover roofs, gutters, siding. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
looky here.
All right, so this particular house, I love the fact that we've got so many different styles of home to look at. So this roof that we replaced with the green style, the homeowner, when they originally had the original roof installed, it was green, but as the weather had gotten to it and it had faded and granule loss, all of those green colored granules had washed off. And by the time that it was time to replace that and insurance had gotten involved, the roof, when we arrived on site to do the initial inspection, actually looked gray. It didn't even look green anymore. You can see it right there. So the transformation there is not just a lighting trick. It was actually gray from the granule loss. So I think we've talked a couple of times about make sure that you occasionally walk around your house, look at the end of your downspouts, look at where they spill out, whether it's through underground, corrugated, or if it's just there at the termination of the downspout. Take a look at that and see if you've got a lot of granule loss, because that's really the protection of your roof. And if your granules are on the ground, they're not helping protect your roof.
Good point. And I think it's another good point to talk about now, the change of the season of fall. You mentioned gutters, and they do roofing, gutters, and siding.
Absolutely.
So therefore, all the leaves falling in, now is the time. And you have the advantage of also, when it comes to roofs and gutters, drones. I think that's cool. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, so I think we've actually got a couple of transformation photos that are drone related. So one of the advantages, there we go, of looking at the house from literally the bird's eye view is that you can not only see, before and after issues with the roof installation and the color and ventilation changes or things like that, but you can also really zoom in and get up close on areas that might be too dangerous to access. And that brings me to another point. You said gutters and fall. Part of the advantage to drones is that no one has to run the risk of falling. So, homeowners, if they are uncomfortable getting on a roof, if a roofer's uncomfortable or a gutter installer is uncomfortable, getting on a roof without the installation of that fall protection system, it's a great opportunity for us to come out and install some gutter protection so that a homeowner isn't getting on a ladder and running that risk. But we can really see what's going on and then get the right fall protection in place so that everybody is safe while they're making whatever repairs are necessary.
And when someone partners with you, you partner with some really reputable companies. So feel proud that you know that from start to finish, you're going to be involved with quality people, a quality company like Cervices. So name some of your partners.
So we think that it's important that when people choose us, that they know that we choose good people too. So we are very loyal in our partnerships. With Beacon, we've had Stephanie Branham on with us before. She's one of our partners at Beacon. Also, we partner with Owens Corning, which just announced pretty recently that they are 5 years in a row now Women's Choice winner. And we partner with them and their products and love everything about our partnerships. We partner with good folks on the sales team side as well. And I'm really, really proud of the fact that when we get reviews, like when people take the time and go through a Google review, that they actually take the time to name the salesperson that helped them and shepherded them through that. I just love when folks
she must have a heck of a sales team. Check out something, and you can pick any one of these that you like. This, I'm telling you, they're all rave reviews. This Austin guy must be amazing.
He is. He is. Right. We're biased, but
once
we love
again,
him.
Cervices Roofing, Gutters, and Siding. Cervices with the C. Don't forget that there is the information on your screen. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you so much.
All right, coming up here, don't go broke at a nursing home. They've got a workshop coming up, and this is information that could save you money. All right, keep it in your pocket. We'll talk to Larry Weiss, Lindsay Fleming next on Wave Listens.